Lost in the dark. It's not a good day to be a bad guy.
What's up, metalheads? This is Wayne.
And Michelle.
And we are from the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. And you are listening to
Burton and Aaron on the Lost in the Dark podcast.
Raise your horns.
Welcome back, Crip Crow! Thank you so much for joining us on episode 220. This will be 220 of Lost in the Dark podcast. Insane to me. Part 3 of our Filthy 15 Album of the Year 2021 list. This one covers, believe it or not, it only covers 3 through 2 on the list, but it also has the honorable mentions chunk, which, from the bottom of my heart, is absolutely just as important to Aaron and I as the actual list. Like, this is stuff I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to put it into words right now, but this is stuff that means that meant just as much to us as everything else on the list that we didn't have words for. We didn't have a place to like necessarily put it at the time or whatever. We kind of did this one in a little bit of haste, but it requires all of the attention that the rest of the list does. So in terms of amazing music. So yeah, that's what this episode is. And I decided to set the final bit aside for its own standalone thing. And any longtime listener of this show, I'm not going to give it away, but once you see who it is, you will understand why that was important. That was important for me to do on a personal level, in terms of things that happened over the last year. So, that will come out the same day as this. It'll all drop on the same day, but I decided once I went back through and watched it and was editing it, I was like, you know what? That can stand on its own for the final one. So this one is 2 and 3, and all of the there's no words to describe how good these are. Like this, look, as far as I'm concerned, the honorable mentions are a part of the list. Like they're not any less valid or any way, shape, or form. So like they mean just as much to us as everything else on the Filthy 15. And that's why we even have that part, to begin with, because it's just stuff that means just as much to us. But like, we could, we boil it down every year to 7 options between Aaron and I, and then we agree on one at the end of the day. So we got 7 choices, and that's where the honorable mentions comes in, is everything that him and I we still that meant so much to us that we still needed to talk about on the episode. So that's what this episode is going to be. Real quick, I got 2 quick shout outs right here at the top for this one. I know it's a long one, so I'll get through them quick. Everybody, be sure to check out the Dipping Milk in Cookies podcast. The boys are back. Now, in full disclosure, it's been like a month or so since I listened to an episode. I recently found another podcast that I really love. Shout out to Monsters Among Us. So I've just been binging that constantly. And just today, actually, I went back on the Dipping Milk and Cookies podcast, and I'm so happy to hear that the boys are back. Everyone, join your hosts, Mike the Master Milker Segovia and Garrett the Cookie Commander Smith, as those 2 best friends try to figure out this thing we call life using friends, guests, and microphones. They have amazing segments. Master Milker's Mysterious Mysteries. The question of the week, super interactive with fans, Be sure to follow them on the Facebook because that's where they interact with the question of the week. Fucking amazing podcast, and I love them to death. And of course, Garrett the Cookie Commander Smith is the guitarist for the band Reflection of Flesh that just announced a tour with the band Bound by Years, all featured right here on this show, all Crip Crew for life. I will, of course, be at the Michigan date. There was nothing on earth that will stop me from that. So be sure to check out all things Dipping Milk and Cookies and Reflection of Flesh. And of course, our Michigan family. Join Wayne and Michelle at the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. Join hosts Wayne and Michelle as they explore all things strange and paranormal within Michigan and beyond after having their own sighting back in, I think, March of 2017 or 18. And join them now as they explore all things strange and paranormal. Topics include conspiracy theories, ghosts, alternative history, the Michigan Dogman, Bigfoot, and all things paranormal, UFOs, of course. Sorry. And they actually just dropped a part 2. They had a guest repeat that was amazing. I love them to death. And they have actually encouraged me to start another podcast relating all to the paranormal as well. So that may be coming soon, and will be coming soon. There's a little teaser for you. But in a little bit, about a month and a half or so. But just stay tuned. But it's all thanks to them. They encouraged me to do it, and they are wonderful people. And be sure to check out. They absolutely one of my favorite paranormal podcasts that I've ever found. So everybody be sure to check out all things Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. All right. And without further ado, because I know this is a bit of a long one, so I'm just trying to get through these a little bit quicker than normal. Everybody be sure to check out all the bands we're about to talk about. Be sure to check out all the bands we're about to talk about. And without further ado, let's get into it. Here it is. Spot 2 and 3 on the Filthy 15 Album of the Year 2021 list from Lost in the Dark. And the, of course, ever important and like seriously just as important to us as every single other one on this list, the honorable mention section of the Filthy 15 for 2021. So here it is, everyone. We love you all to death. Enjoy. Okay, so we had some minor technical difficulties. I addressed it in the intro, so we're not going to address it here, but that's it's tomorrow for us now.
Why don't you ask yourself, why do they look different?
Why do they look a little different? Yeah, I addressed it in the intro, but we left off talking about the new Cannibal Corpse album, Violence Unimagined. Now, I guess I'll start off by throwing it to you, man. Like we went through the entire Filthy 15 list, and these are like the last. We talked about Scion already, but these are like the last 4 that the rest of the list is like not in any particular order, but these last 4 are our top 4 of the year, hands down. So what made you agree to give Cannibal that number 3 spot for this album?
Because it's fucking Cannibal Corpse.
I mean, fair answer.
But aside from that, no, man, like it is one of those that, you know, as soon as, you know, the news dropped about, you know, the fact that Rutan was filling, you know, is stepping up for the full guitar spot on it.
Yep.
Pretty much instantly was like, oh, this is gonna be this is already the album of the year, really. Kind of one of them, you know.
Yep. Off the rip.
But it was, I mean, you know, just even from the singles, I think Necrogenic was the first one, or it was, I don't know, I think it was Murderous Rampage was the first one. And then pretty much from there. And then, you know, they
Like
dropped
I thought Inhumane Harvest was one of the first ones.
it was, yeah, I think it's one of these three, I think.
Because
I'm not
that
sure which
video
one
is
dropped first.
fucking gnarly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Inhumane Harvest one.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. That is
Yeah.
brutal.
They kind of took a fucking I mean the song itself's about human trafficking, or not human trafficking, like
Organ
selling
harvesting.
off. Yeah, organ harvesting, that's right. So already it's a pretty intense subject. The video fits in quite well with it. Yeah, I think that as you get into the later half of the album, it takes on a whole other form. It's a bit more, it kind of like, it's, I don't want to say it's like a victory lap for them, but in some ways it kind of is, and it kind of like spans across, influences from their entire career, from like the earlier stuff.
Yeah.
Like the like there's a lot more thrash kind of oriented stuff on this, which is cool.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. Especially in the riffing.
Yeah. Especially like Over Torture is one of the faster ones. Kind of reminds me of what's the Frantic Disembowelment.
Oh, Wretched Spawn. All right.
Yeah, Wretched Spawn. It's also I don't know, any intro that they've put on their records for the last like 6, and it's kind of that, but just, I don't know, sicker. I guess.
And
with the addition of Wu-Tang on guitar, man, his solos and just the little like extra flavor he adds to these riffs is, a pretty crazy, facelift from, not to say that Red Before Black, I think, was the one that was before it.
Before what?
Before this one?
No. Before this one, it was Skeletal Domain, wasn't it?
Oh
no, holy shit. I didn't realize Skeletal Domain was 2014.
Holy
fuck.
2017. Yeah, that was a little while.
Yeah. Damn.
It's got some bangers on it too.
Yeah. Big time.
Anyway, yeah. So that's kind of why from the very first note of it, man, it's just intense. Like the whole thing is just, it grabs you in. We talked a lot about the guitar riffs, and a lot of especially within the last couple albums, talked a lot about like stuff that is like catchy stuff that kind of like sticks with you a little bit, like memorable riffs and memorable lines and stuff. And this is no exception with that. I mean, I feel like they've gotten quite a bit better with it in the later records, as far as like having all the songs kind of stand on their own and kind of speak for themselves a little bit without sounding too similar, which after the career that they've had is incredible, that they're even able to continue to put out records that far and away basically are just steps ahead of where they were at on the last one, even though the last one was just as good. Just really stands the test of just how good this band is, and how like tight they are as as just a writing unit and stuff.
And that I mean, I for both of us, I feel like this is like, for me, okay, let's see here. What did I write down about it? Yeah, it's an instant Cannibal classic, a full-bodied, rhythmic sounding masterpiece without letting go of any heavy. It's heavy as ever. And for me personally, as a fan, having been a fan of Cannibal Corpse for such a long time and being very familiar with their entire catalog, this album is off the rip, like probably in my top 3 favorite Cannibal albums of all time. And for a basically roughly 20-ish year career, fucking how many fucking albums, dude? 15, 20 albums, somewhere in there. For this one to just immediately climb those kind of ranks, that's insane.
Yeah.
It is a fucking masterpiece. And I think that the I think you're right. I think there's a lot, you can hear a lot more thrash elements in the guitar, especially. I think, I think that's an element that Rutan brings in that really kind of added something to it. It added something to it. It added like a rhythmic heaviness to it that
Yeah.
just top to bottom, man, it just worked.
Yeah. 15th album.
15 albums. All right.
And they're still finding a way to make it sound fresh and with their same kind of stamp on it.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, some of we talked about it earlier, but some of this if you get the physical copy, some of this interior artwork
Awesome.
from
Crazy.
Vince Locke is just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff. Like really
And-
fucking wild looking stuff.
Yeah. I like the little monster face in the back of that one. Where it's like the
It's on every page.
Yeah.
It's on every page with something a little bit extra. Like,
yeah.
it's really, really amazing artwork all the way. And it's different all the way through.
Probably
Really good.
like trying to think.
And like for me, like I know I told you this already, but for me, like Surround, Kill, Devour could have been the next song after Hammer Smash Face on that album. Like it's that level Cannibal Corpse. Like it's fucking incredible.
Condemnation, Contagion, Follow the Blood has one of the
Follow the Blood is amazing.
That just the main riff of it the whole time. It's got that. It's kind of like Evisceration Plague sort of feeling, or like something or like Scourge of Iron kind of.
Yeah.
Slower songs that just nobody like. Anytime they put one of those songs on there, anytime it just starts with like this slow kind of like crawling riff, it's gonna be something that's just gonna roll the fuck over you.
Yep.
And I was thinking of the cover art and stuff, because this is kind of the first one in a while where they had to come up with an alternative cover for it. I think next to I think Torture was probably the last one.
Well, I thought didn't Red Before Black have an alt cover? Maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong. No, I think you might be right. I think Torture was the last one actually, because it had the hanging bodies.
Yeah, when you pulled off the cover, which you later realize is like looking. It's very like Jeepers Creepers kind of like.
Yeah, kind of.
Looks like you're looking through the stomach of the dude or whatever.
Yeah.
Pretty well done. I thought like that was one that like I didn't know that there was an alternate cover for that, so I got the physical copy of it and I was like, oh god, like what is this shit? You just open it up and it just keeps going. And same with this one, man. Like I remember, I mean, we got to talk about it. We already did, really, but like it was one of those like, because I think this is the first thing that they posted about.
Yes.
And like when I saw it first, I was like, okay. And then like on their social media pages, like they started posting little subtle things, like all that stuff, and I was like, is there more to this? I feel like I'm missing something, and not only is there more to it, it's like, well, I don't know, you got the flag hanging up, which always like
in my
cracks me
bedroom.
up. Yeah, it's like one of the first things. Yeah.
It's one of the first things I see when I wake up every day.
Yeah.
Like, wake up! Oh, violence unimagined. Here we go.
Oh yeah. It only goes up from here.
Yep.
Oh yeah. No,
I mean that's we've told the story many times, but like, that's part of the thing about Cannibal Corpse is the cover art. Like it needs it like when you get one that like needs an alternative cover, that's the good one. You know what I mean? Like that's the one that like you go into the record store and try to freak someone out just by buying it. Like it's the best. It's the best. Vince Locke is hands down one, like he has to be one of the most greatest fucking cover album artwork artists of all time.
Why
Who?
doesn't-
What album artwork artist has been banned in more countries than him? Like no one.
Yeah, I can't really think of any.
And I like how that's how we determine he's the best.
Well, it's like, despite what it is, it's fucking his attention to detail, man. Is like
He
what
is a
gets me. Like,
truly talented artist. I like his style in general, the colors that he uses. Like I like it's
the super deep
one
reds and,
honestly the super deep reds, but in composed with the background, the black and the green. Like when you're looking at this, like, where are you?
yeah,
What is
like,
that background? You know what I
like
mean?
nightmarish kind of.
Yeah, it's just like kind of like a ethereal plane kind of death. Like I don't know. I love this cover though. This is probably my favorite Cannibal cover since Wretched Spawn.
And that's really the only one that comes close to that one, even.
Yeah.
At least of the second kind of iteration of the band.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
Their original ones are kind of stand on their own too. They're
were
like
more
iconic, really.
Yeah, that's true. Like the original ones kind of had more of like a zombie thing, and the more recent ones have kind of more of a monster thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, it's good shit.
But either way, top to bottom, this album, like, first of all, when I first saw the real cover art, I was like, oh fuck. Like I already going into it, I knew Rutan was on guitar and producing. I was already excited.
Yeah.
And then you see the cover art and you're like, that is the gnarliest cover art since Wretched Spawn, which is the album I got into him on.
Yeah.
So then, boom, I'm already excited. Skeletal Domain and Red Before Black were brilliant leading into this. And now we got Rutan. And I don't know, man. I was just like, I like, you cannot name me a Cannibal Corpse album that I don't like. Like I like every single one of their albums, but this one just had, I don't know, it felt like it had elements in it that I hadn't really heard from them before. Like to your point, like a lot more thrashy sides and things like that. And then like the slowed down one, it just the second, like as soon as I finished the album the first time, I was like, I have to hear that again right now.
Yeah.
It's just top to bottom. It is one of, like, if you go back in the last 10 years, it's like this and Death Atlas are my two favorite death metal albums in the last 10 years.
That's fair.
Like, honestly, like these are the two that grabbed me harder. The only one I could put on that list is Skeletal Domain, another Cannibal album. Like, you know what I mean? Like the fucking that one song, the Fire Up the Chainsaw song, is
Killer Become.
Yeah.
There's no other way, you have to kill or become.
Yeah.
Such a cool live song.
Oh
too.
my god, dude, that song is so sick. And it's like we were talking about it before we started recording tonight. Like they should just play this top to bottom.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like I want to hear Surround, Kill, Devour, Inhumane Harvest. You know, I want to hear Bound and Buried, Follow the Blood, Slowly Sawn, Over Torture. Like I want to hear, what is that? Serments of the Flayed. Yeah, I want to hear fucking every single one of these songs live. And luckily they are about to be on tour, a massive fucking tour. And they'll be here at the end of March, and we will be there. So hopefully we get to see a good portion of these songs live for the first time, almost a full year after the album has been released. So
yeah,
I'm very, very excited for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really, especially with that. I mean, Whitechapel
Oh my God, Whitechapel
Shadow of Intent.
Revocation, Shadow of Intent. Shadow of
Yeah.
Intent's about to drop. Or they just dropped a new one. Something
I think
going on.
I think they put out an EP.
Okay, yeah, I see.
like a
I've
few
been
weeks
seeing
before
it.
the end of the
I've been seeing it advertised a lot on indie merch store. So
Yeah, actually, I haven't heard much of it yet. There's a song on it that's got Phil Bozeman on it, which is fucking really cool.
no way.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Yeah, bring that up. Because if there's a chance that we get to see Phil Bozeman with Shadow of Intent live, and run.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's it. Of Fury. Yeah, that's the cover.
Where
Oh, it's a
millions have come to
4-track.
die.
So it's a 4-track EP. Okay.
Yeah, and I
If
think
we could, dude.
I think it's in like they're kind of like Lorna. They're putting out a new album next year, and I think this is just kind of a EP.
This is a song.
Yeah.
The taster, the appetizer.
Yeah.
All right.
Because they've been known to do that quite a bit as far as like putting out singles. I mean, they seems like they put out a couple of singles and stuff every year and keep going with stuff. Because their last full length is 2019.
I like that.
So they're always putting stuff out. There's no.
They're great.
Yeah.
I like them.
This album was on my album of the year list that year.
Yep. Yeah. I think that's when I fucking kind of discovered them was through you, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like this out Violence Unimagined. I mean, there's just no like it took, put it this way. It took some pretty extraordinary music and extraordinary circumstances for this to not be the number one spot.
Yeah.
Like in a normal year, this would have been number one without question.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm just going to say it. The next two are EPs. This is the number one album of the year. Album of the year. The next, our top two spots are EPs. This is the last album we're about to talk about. Album of the year, right here.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Unfucking believable. Unfucking believable, dude. So good. Like addictive.
Yeah,
So it's the one that you finish and you're like, again. Like you can't get enough of it. I can't wait till they do, they did the 20 Years of Torment documentary. I can't wait till they do the 40 Years of Torment documentary. It's gonna be so sick.
They're getting close, man. And like in the last, like
I think they should do the 30-year one.
Yeah, since that documentary, they've same with Black Dahlia. Like those didn't really like age super well because so much has happened. Well, I mean they didn't like it. It
was that moment in time. You know what I mean? Like more has happened, of course, that they hopefully will get in the 30 or 40-year ones if they do them. But that 20 Years of Torment, that was the new album during that cycle. When that was released was Kill. So that was them up to Kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just them up to Kill. And much like the Dahlia ones. Yeah, I think Dahlia follows heavily in a lot of ways. It not in terms of music sonically, but in terms of everything else, they follow heavily in the footsteps of Dahlia, which I love. Dahlia follows heavily in the footsteps of Cannibal. And which I love, and I want more. Like I just got reminded, and you brought it up earlier with talking about Vulvodynia, how I'm a Doctor Who fan. Like my favorite Doctor Who thing ever was the 50th anniversary, and then I found out that next year is the 60th anniversary, and I'm like, oh shit, what are they gonna do? So that makes me now that same kind of thinking makes me go, what's Cannibal gonna do for the 30-year? What's Dahlia gonna do for the 20-year? You know what I mean? Like, I want to see that shit. I want that.
Yeah.
I want them to do. Because I love those documentaries so much. It means so much to me as a fan. I would love to see more.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, definitely.
because
It,
so much has happened. So much amazing music has been released.
yeah. I don't know, just like the fact that there's like we are at that point where, you know, the ones that we kind of, you know, that got us into the genre that were even, you know, like I guess Dahlia is a good example, obviously, at
Yeah.
least from a modern sense,
Yes.
because you know now we're at the point where they're doing, you know, they're already doing like special merch drops for like the 10 or 15 year of like Nocturnal and all
Yep.
this other stuff. So it's fucking great. Like it's cool to see that, you know, there's still, you know, it's the longevity of just extreme music in this sense is like, you know,
Yeah.
it's
It's-
stuck around for a lot longer than,
It,
you know.
it's clearly not a fucking flash in the pan. It's
Yeah.
yeah, no, it hasn't just stuck around, but improved and gotten bigger and better, and
Yeah.
every aspect of it has just gotten more amazing. So for those reasons, that is why Cannibal Corpse, Violence Unimagined, comes in at the #1 album of the year in our #3 spot on the Filthy 15 list. Undeniable Vince Locke artwork, Eric Rutan on guitar. I mean, you know, and then everybody else, you know, Paul and Alex and Corpse Grinder. Corpse Grinder, of course, has his first ever solo album coming out here in a month or two, produced by Jamie Josta. We'll get more into that in the honorable mention section and in the most anticipated section. But yeah, like there's more Corpse Grinder coming this. So we got Violence Unimagined this year. We got more Corpse Grinder coming this year. I couldn't be more happy about that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that last night. As far as, you know, like the newer stuff that's coming out, and it's crazy that we had this album this year, and then like usually there's like a, I don't know, 4 or 5 year gap.
I mean, you
between-
just showed the Red Before Black was 2017. That was 4 years before Violence Unimagined. So that's a whole high school career.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's crazy.
that's a big gap.
Yeah. And then, but to have like this album, then like, yeah, I already just based on, and the new the song that, or the single that he put out, Acid Bat, has Eric Rutan on it. So
Really?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Holy shit.
we listened to it like the night.
I know
it
we
came out
listened.
when
Yeah,
we were-
I remember. I vaguely remember
Well,
that.
yeah,
I
same.
should put it that way. But yeah, no, I didn't realize that was Rutan. Awesome. Fuck yeah, dude. I fucking pray that I just give me one track with Corpse Grinder and Josta. Just one.
Oh,
just,
man.
Come on. Just give it
Let
to
it-
me.
I just, and it better be just, well, no, they did, you remember? They did on the Lost Chapters.
That's right. They have done
Yeah.
one. That's right. That's
And
right.
It's fucking sick.
It's
Probably one of my
amazing.
favorite songs that they've done. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's cool.
So
They Want Your Soul or something like that.
Yo,
I don't
they
know.
want
Yeah.
your soul. Yeah. That is it.
Yeah.
Oh
Damn.
man. So yeah, hopefully we get another one on because I don't think the full track listing has even been announced yet.
I don't think so either. The artwork is
The artwork is out. the street date is out. But I don't think the track listing, I don't even think pre-orders are up yet. I could be wrong about that. Pre-orders might be up. Yeah, right. Holy shit. They already got it up on here.
what I think. Yeah.
Oh, it's just the single. All right. Yeah. Corpse Grinder and Eric Rutan. Holy shit. I
That
fucking
artwork
love
is
it.
great. Yeah.
It is. It's so Death Clock.
Yeah.
Like it is. That's Nathan Explosion. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that is, but also Nathan Explosion was based on Corpse Grinder. So really it's just
Yeah.
Corpse Grinder. Nathan Explosion is Corpse Grinder.
Yeah.
Like, let's
It's
be
like a-
real about that.
He was like a Mortal Kombat character.
Kinda. Fucking great. And I cannot wait to hear it. Everything Jasta produces is fucking gold. So yeah, that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be fucking epic.
And that's kind of been in talks for a while. Like he's
well,
kind of
and what's well, if you're a long time listener of the Jasta podcast, one thing for a long time, Jasta was trying to get Corpse Grinder to do a Christmas album because Corpse Grinder loves Christmas.
Corpse Grinder Christmas.
He loves Christmas. He likes Warcraft. He loves Target.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, dude. Yeah.
It's like Jason Mewes.
Yeah. Those videos of him just like in the $5 section or like in the toy section, just fucking around.
Dude, there's the same exact videos with Jason Mewes. Like, oh, look at this Lego set.
Yeah. Dude,
They're like that. Dude, they should be on a podcast together. Corpse Grinder and Jay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Somebody, please. God, I hope somebody hears this and fucking makes that happen. Are you fucking kidding me? That'd be amazing. Corpse Grinder and Jason Mewes go to Target.
I don't know what I'd do if I were there and like I just turned my head and down there was just this beast of a like just, like seeing like the Warcraft thing and just like this giant like dude
like
just hanging out in the toy
Explosion
section. Yeah.
Standing next to Jay.
Yeah. I don't know what I'd do, but
I'd piss myself. I would I'd start shaking. Like what? Like cause that actually like I'll never forget it. There was a time because like after I discovered that Jay and Silent Bob podcast and everything, there was a time where I was at work here in Lansing, Michigan, and they had a show in Grand Rapids, and then like 2 nights later they had a show in Detroit that we were going to.
Yeah.
And they started in Grand Rapids, and as they were driving through Michigan to get to Detroit, I was at work, and Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith were uploading social media videos from the Okemos, Walmart, and Target.
Yeah.
I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me right now.
Yeah.
If I wasn't at work, I would have fucking booked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of thing is within the realm of possibilities if we speak it into existence. We just spoke things into existence last night that came true today. Apparently, Carnifex is going on tour with Lorna Shore. And yeah, all kinds of crazy shit got announced today that we talked about last night that we didn't know about when we were talking about it. So, and that's kind of a perfect segue.
Hey, can't think of any better time to go into this next one.
Cannibal Corpse, our #1 album of the year, full length in terms of full lengths, but it's number 3 on our Filthy 15 list. Number 2,
you can't talk about this year in metal without talking about this next band.
Nope.
Because when this came out, it pretty much like
it shook the dude. The only time I've seen a band release a single that shook the metal world, at least from my perspective on social media and shit, that shook people like this. The last time I saw this was Death Atlas.
Yeah.
Last time I saw this kind of reaction was Death Atlas.
Yeah. And even that was to a lesser extent, but this
a little bit.
It is like it's just
and they did not release it in very many physical copies, but I did get one.
Oh fuck yeah. Nice. I didn't know that.
It's not even out of the plastic yet.
Oh yeah.
It's not even out of the plastic. It's still encased in eternity. We're talking about Lorna Shore and I Return to Nothingness EP. The reason why this earns number 2 spot for me, and I'll let you go, but for me, because there are only 2 songs on this earth that I listened to more than I listened to these 3 songs this year. I was aware peripherally of Lorna Shore. I had heard their name. I'd even seen them at Michigan Metal Fest. I've even seen them a couple times prior to the addition of Will Ramos. They were never really on my radar. Honestly, they were never really it was never, I don't know. It just never hit with me until this. And when in now honestly, ever since Death Atlas, and I'm sitting there, this is during right before pandemic and 2019, and I see everybody posting all this great, like the whole metal world is ignited by one of the singles from Death. I think it was the title track. I think it was the track Death Atlas that really fucking like got everybody, like every fucking post I was seeing, and I was like, all right, I gotta listen to this. And then it was To the Hellfire, and I was like, all right, I gotta listen to this. And when I heard that shit, dude, like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. It got people that don't even really listen to this kind of music to pay attention to this shit. Like,
I do want to say also, I did mention it before in one of the previous things where Nervosa, I think, when we were talking about Grim Reaper.
Yep.
I just want to say, soon as Alexi dies, everybody starts using the Grim Reaper. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's up for grabs, I guess. Yeah.
It's up for grabs. It is. Bodum is no more and Alexi's gone. The Reaper is up for grabs. You are correct.
Yeah.
But it makes me happy every time I see it because I think of them.
Yeah.
Go on.
Oh yeah. No, I kind of the same. Like I much like everybody else, I was kind of like, it is the type of thing where, like, I know that like we've played it a few times, like when it first came out and stuff, and it was one of those that, like, whenever it hits that the last bit of it, like, I just I just can't help but laugh because it's so just over the top
crazy.
And just but how, and like the thing that I love about that bit is the fucking the drums on it.
Yes.
Because there's the bit with, like, where it's just a super fast double bass, and then, like, it goes for, like, a little bit longer than you expect it to, and then it stops, and then there's that last, like, kind of thing, and it's just outside of that, honestly,
go on.
Sorry,
No, go on.
I was just gonna say, it honestly took me a little bit to listen to the rest of it, because when that song came out, I was like, I'd heard it a bunch of times, and then it got to a point where it became just a little bit overplayed for me. Well, like I was hearing it a lot on, like, a lot of social media stuff or whatever. Not that it doesn't deserve all the plays and everything like that, but
like, it does.
Because of that, it just took me a little while to get to the rest of it. But when I did, man, like, I would say those like, Of the Abyss and this last song, the title track, are.
Let me ask you something. What's your favorite track?
Kind of partial to this song. I like
my favorite track is Of the Abyss.
Yeah.
It definitely started as To the Hellfire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that it got overplayed for me at all. Well, I probably overplayed it for myself, but it was in some ways, I feel like the other 2 tracks got a little bit overshadowed in some ways because everybody was just talking about that breakdown. Now, it is one of the greatest fucking breakdowns ever. Like, don't, fuck off. Like, it's totally one of the fucking greatest breakdowns ever.
Yeah.
But the lyric, but then once you get past To the Hellfire and get into Of the Abyss and I Return to Nothingness, the lyrics in Of the Abyss just hit me so much harder, you know, from the carcass of a dead star. That alone is that's all me. Like that's all, like I love astronomy. I love space. I love all that kind of shit. So like the idea of from the carcass of a dead star, and then we return to nothing, and then just the chant being we are infinite. Come on. Like the only other metal band that makes shit that triumphant is Hatebreed at this point. Like we are infinite. We are infinite.
Yeah.
Like that is every time I hear that line, it makes my spinal cord tingle. Like we are infinite. You know what I mean? Like it's just like that, the whole, yeah, no, like so yeah, like we all, the bait was to the hellfire, and then if you kept going with these next two tracks, it is just like it's it's only, what is it, 3 tracks, 18 minutes, kind of a lot for 3 tracks, but they are long songs for sure. 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Yeah, those are long songs. Almost 6 minutes every track. Almost. That's a beefy ass 3-track EP.
Yeah.
And the second it's done, all you want is more.
Yeah.
All you want is, like, I can't tell you how many times I just replayed those 3 tracks over and over and over. It's just, oh man, like, and then of course, now I do have a little bit extra to say about this, because they did tour this, and I did see them at the Sanctuary in Detroit when they toured it. Not only did I see them, we got VIP, and I got to meet everyone, and I actually shared a beer with the guitarist. And they recorded, there's a new Lorna Shore album, 100% confirmed, coming out this year, which, as with this and the next album, both recorded in Michigan, up by Bay City. And it just all of that combined, actually getting to meet these guys, shake their hands, talk to them for a minute, I felt like, and that's the kicker too. That's the kicker too, is like the band has been going for how many years now? Can you check that for me? Around 10, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Pretty close to that. They were
yeah, what okay, so at least 5 on Spotify. Or 7 now, I guess, on Spotify.
So this
was 2015.
It's either this record or EP, or no, sorry. So
2012. 22, so 10 years. 10 years this year.
Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, right about 10 years. Like the band has been going for that long, but Will, the vocalist, hasn't been with them. But it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know, because I've been following everybody on social media and like meeting them and everything. It's just like, it feels like this is it. You know what I mean? Like this is gonna be the next thing that they release. Feels like it's gonna fucking take over the world, is what it feels like. Like it really does. It really fucking does. And I've seen the guitarist that I shared a beer with, and like other members on like other podcasts and stuff, and doing interviews, and like these guys are real, man. Like they're just like us. They're genuine dudes, and they're just like they've been going for this long. They've had a lot of turmoil with their vocalists, and I feel like it's just they finally landed on the right one, and a guy who was basically out of nowhere.
Yeah.
that is just so outrageously talented. They found him basically through doing covers on YouTube.
I
And
don't know if I knew that.
yeah, like they're like, there's this guy that does these covers on, like, somebody told them there's this guy that does these covers on YouTube, and they were like, well, let's give him a try. And he originally came on, if I'm not mistaken, he originally came on as just a touring. They had a European tour to go on, and they needed a vocalist, and so they're like, all right, come on the European tour, but that's it. Like, you're not necessarily a new vocalist, you're just coming on tour. That was like the parameters, and then he just meshed with them so well, and everything went so well. And well, actually, what the guitarist said in that interview was that it was like the worst European tour they've ever had, but Will just loved every moment of it. Like, he just was so happy and excited every moment of it. They're like, this is our guy. And yeah, like, and you feel that when you're in the room with them, like, these guys just like click, this is what it should have been. This is what it needs to be. And I, just like the rest of the world, I imagine, I cannot fucking wait for the next release. It's coming very soon. I know it's done recording. They recorded it in November and December up here in Michigan. And it's coming this year. And with the announcement that they are playing that Chaos and Carnage tour with Whitechapel who is it? It's with Suicide Silence and Carnifex.
Yeah.
Which is something we spoke into existence last night, apparently. And with them doing that, and that's in basically like February, March, April ish. I imagine they drop the full length in the summer, and then they do the headline in the fall. I imagine that's the play. That seems like the good play. I could be totally wrong. I'm just totally spitballing here and guessing, but
Seems
I am doing
realistic.
This is absolutely one of the most anticipated albums of 2022 is going to be the next Lorna Shore, because of these 3 fucking tracks and how much they ended up meaning to me throughout this bizarre ass year of 2021. For whatever reason, whatever mood I was in, whatever, this always came to me. Like this, like if I needed to get hyped, if I needed to just something to feel fucking violent towards or something, like this album was there for me this year. In a weird ass year, this album was there for me. And so for me, that's why it has to be number 2 on the list. It was there for me. You know what I mean? That's what metal does. It's there for you. It's always there for you. It never judges you. And it's just always there for you. And that music, the music these guys created on this one, that meant a lot to me, a whole lot to me this year. So for me, that's why it takes number 2.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't necessarily listen to it like as soon as it came out. I mean, I was much like everybody else, kind of I heard the main single song, and then it took me a little bit to kind of circle back to the full EP. But once I did, man, it was like, like there's a lot. I mean, like you said, there's about 20-minute EP, which is a fair amount for 3 songs.
For 3 songs.
3 or 4 songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what they do with the time, and like how they fill that space up so much with just like the whole thing is just interesting. Like it just, it moves really well. There's a lot of like hooks in it. Is like what I love about it probably the most is how just how big some of the string stuff is, and some of the like the I mean, both, I'm pretty sure all 3 songs start with some like big string, like orchestral arrangement type stuff. Very like not so much Winds of Plague. It's a little different than them.
It's more. Yeah.
I guess I guess like I don't know, it's a little more like kind of like newer Flesh God sort of. And he's like got these
Yeah,
big like
it's more
sweeping.
like it's instead of like trying to make the strings metal, it's more just like genuine
Yeah,
strings.
made
You
to
know what I mean? I don't know how else to put it. Like it, but it's different. It's different. I know what you're saying.
yeah. The whole thing it has such a gigantic feel to it all the way through,
Yes.
which I love. Um, and with the thing that I think they do really well with this, and because I've been I kind of I guess let me back up a little bit. My personal experience
Yeah.
with
What's
them.
your experience with that? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've seen all three iterations of the lineup.
I think I've only seen two.
With yeah, because we saw them at Metal Fest the
Yes,
year
with
that
CJ, right?
yeah the year that they co-headlined. Um, and it was pretty good. I was like it was kind of missing for me a little bit. Like I've always the thing I've always loved about this band and kind of looking at it right here is that the instrumentals and all of the like just the playing on this like the newest one is some really really intricate really well written stuff for what this genre is because they kind of started off as a bit more of a deathcore band,
Mhm.
and then they evolved into what they are now. I think for me the thing that got me started into them was this record right here, Flesh Coffin. When
Okay.
this came out it was it's a little more like this stuff I would say is a little more like like the blackened kind of stuff. It has a little more of a darker tone to it, all the way through. And this is the last album that they did with Tom, who went on to join Chelsea Grin and
Right. That's
band called
right. Because
Darko. Yeah,
we saw Lauren like the we saw Chelsea Grin and Lorna Shore with the new singer the same year at Metal Fest, I think. There's something weird like that.
oh yeah,
Remember that?
you're right,
Because I
yeah.
was like confused that whole day about what was going on.
Yeah, well, and the first year, Signs of the Swarm, who is also a part of this equation, which is where CJ comes into play, played
Oh,
the
maybe that was it or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Signs of the Swarm is another band that has gone on to like pretty much move past the whole vocal thing, and their album Absolver that they put out this year just barely missed my list as well. I'll talk about it in the honorables, because that one's there's some really cool songs on that as well. But getting back to this band, like I was saying, like seeing like all three, iterations of it and kind of knowing where they went to, and then eventually ending up at this.
And this is the version you haven't seen yet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing about it is I really feel like they, not only did they take their time with it, because I feel like they had all the time in the world with it, to try to like, get this just right. Which is why I think it sounds the way that it does. Like it just there's a lot of energy to it. Like it's a very, like I said, it's a very big kind of epic feeling record in some senses. And like the high points, the big epic points are so much that when they hit you with like the big breakdown sections and the parts where it just stops, like it hits like a fucking ton of bricks, man.
Yeah.
Like I just like all of the, I'm a sucker for like breakdowns that hit with like some kind of like unexpected, like bass drops and like little effects and stuff. And it's all over this EP. Like
Yeah.
this some like really cool like ear candy kind of stuff, I guess you'd call it. Just
Yeah.
little effects and little things that you just kind of pick up on. So yeah, I mean, I guess my feeling on it, even though for a time it was a little bit overplayed and it was a little overshadowed, for like we were saying for the rest of the tracks. I just being as big of a fan as I am of the crazy, like, I mean, Bog Wraith, like that style of vocal, like that kind of stuff, like just the toilet bowl vocals or the gutturals or
Toilet
the
bowl vocals.
yeah, just the kind of stuff.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. There's a variety of different ways, but like I don't know, just the art of the extreme vocal, I guess we'll call it. Just being as big of a fan as I am of that for so long, and to just kind of have something like this come across so many people's like radar and just have this hit so hard is it's pretty cool, because I can't really remember the last time something like this outside of like Thy Art with
Or Death Atlas.
yeah, and even that's and I guess like that vocal kind of lends itself to bands like Cattle and Infinite Annihilator and all those bands.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
And those are vastly different bands. So
Yeah. So to have something like this hit so hard for so many people is like, yes, like there's
pretty
still
wild, right?
there's still the need for that. There's still the enjoyment for this kind of thing, and
Yeah.
to kind of what you were saying, I think that whatever they do next is just gonna
It's gonna blow up the world.
Yeah, like they're on the up and up, and it's awesome to see after so much struggle and so much like publicly.
And
Like I can't think of a band over the last few years that's had so much like
turmoil,
public shit happen, and it all be just out in the open for everyone. And it's been like some not great stuff, but to see
really bad.
Yeah, to see how they bounce back from it and still continue to push out music and still just just have that drive for it is really inspiring, honestly.
It is, and on top of that, like for like because it's kind of that's through all the listening of podcasts that I've done from comedians and other podcasters and shit like that, it seems to be like the 10-year, as long as you keep going for 10 years, that's when you that's when you catch it.
Yeah.
Like you stay in, like, whether it be stand-up comedy, whether it be a metal band, whether it be a podcast. Don't get me wrong. There are tons and tons of metal bands, comedians, and podcasts that caught way earlier. I'm not saying anything about that, but it seems to be that the ones with the longevity, they start to catch after like the 5 to 10 year mark. That's when they start to get good, if you will. At least in terms of that's mostly in reference to comedy and podcasts, less bands. But so for them to be at the 10-year mark and drop this masterpiece, like, and it's only 3 tracks. I don't know. I can't wait to see what they do next. These 3 tracks meant so much to me this year and helped me like literally, like I was in some dark places and I'd put on one of these tracks and lifted right back up. And so yeah, I don't know, that's why personally for us, I think there's nothing else that deserves the number 2 spot than this EP. Even though it's not a full-length album, these 3 tracks meant more to me than most full-length albums this year. That's what I'll say.
Oh yeah.
So, do we announce number 1? Are we ready for number 1?
Well, my thinking is, I kind of want to talk about some honorable mention stuff first.
You do?
Because I think that, there's still quite a bit that didn't make the cut. As far as like, I mean, we've the list for ones that are on that are far more than the 5 that we each picked out. And there's so many other choices and so many like it's like other things that came across the table this year that really kind of were surprising, but just didn't really quite hit the same. They didn't really, and so I think that to talk about some of those and to kind of bring up how like I guess
right.
like what do I want to say? To count because the one that we picked for number one, which I like, I won't say just yet, is so like you said. Normally, there's not two EPs on this list. Normally we just do full lengths and we just do all that other stuff. But the fact that like this particular one came out when it did, and all of the weight that's behind it, and just how like chilling it is that it's only same thing with this. It's only 3 tracks, but the song like start to finish, it is so like just in your face, so to speak.
Good pull.
But I figure before that we may as well talk about some ones that are just
Okay.
as equally as notable, because it's hard, man. Like this, I think this year is probably one of the hardest that
It's one of the
I've
hardest.
had to, yeah,
I agree.
Um,
I agree. I
that's
absolutely agree.
that's a good problem to have though, because I mean that's
Yep.
that just means there was a lot of good stuff that came out. So
All right. So we're gonna get into honorable mentions now.
yeah, sure.
All right, then let me do a quick piss break.
No, all right.
Do a quick pause, and then we'll get back into it. All right, here we go. All right, so for the first one, on the honorable mentions list, we both, for the first one at least, we both agree, and we agree it to be The Breathing Process, Labyrinthian. Honorable mentions, number one, just go. Just like talk to me, Aaron. Like this thing, we got to see this shit top to bottom live on one of the greatest shows we've ever seen in our lives. So
Man, yeah. So we saw this. Actually, I think we both got this the Halloween show.
yep,
Which is
one of the greatest shows we've ever seen in our lives.
yeah. That was a
Hands
fucking
down.
crazy night. Saw a lot of stuff that I hadn't seen in a long time, as
Yeah.
well as just some new, I don't know. It's
Stuff
did a whole
we'd
episode
wanted
about
to
it.
see
Yeah.
for a long time too. Yeah.
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 But anyway, yeah, man, this album is right from fucking Terminal, man. It rips your face off. Like I love the riffs on it. In fact, like when we saw them, I could do nothing but just stand there and fucking headbang for like the whole entirety of their set. Like it's one of those albums that just like between that, like Shadow Self, how it comes in with like just the slower riff, the whole thing. I love how the vocals are just, I don't know, just super aggressive and really, but it's the type of thing where you can pick it out and you actually like follow it and stuff. There's a lot of cool lines in it. The instruments on it, the guitar work especially, is really cool. It's super unique. The drums are just gigantic, I think. Just blast beats the whole way through, and some like really cool string stuff, some really cool like keyboard type stuff. And yeah, dude, like I think I mentioned quite a few of them, but I think Terminal, Shadow Self, and Wilt are like for anything that's come out this year. That's like it falls with what I was saying with Alluvial, with like Ulysses and Thy Underling, just being like the first 2 or 3 songs off of it are just probably one of the best openings to anything that I've heard this year. So yeah, I don't know. Great live band. It was awesome to see some of this live.
The Breathing Process was introduced to me. I had no idea who they were, and then I saw them live for the first time at Michigan Metal Fest. I want to say 2019, and my first thought was, this band is way too big for this stage. These guys, they are just so dominating. And then on top of all that, when we did finally get to see them at the Halloween show, the guitarist, I want to say her name, Sarah. Yeah, Sarah, I believe is the female guitarist for them. Was using a guitar that was very reminiscent of an Alexi Laiho guitar, and it made me very excited. And there was even a moment at the end after they were playing at that show where you and I were just sitting at a table, and she walked by and I was like, hey, great set. And she's like, wait, you're the Lost in the Dark guys. And we looked at each other like, what?
Yeah.
Like that was fucking insane. So like this has been a band that I have felt very strongly for a number of years. And now this big change up with this album is brand new lead vocalist, I believe.
Yeah.
And my God, he kills it.
Yeah.
Like he absolutely destroys. And all these albums we're about to talk about, but this one especially, I'm almost feel guilty about having it not be on the official Filthy 15 right now because of how fucking great this album is.
So do I. Especially because like it took me a little while to get to it because of everything else, but like as soon as I did, man, like I said, right from the first starting song, it is like it just fucking rolls over.
It's like a tornado of death metal. Like
just the drums on it.
The drums are unbelievable.
Yeah. Some rare, like very reminiscent of like just the reason that I like Behemoth so much and just like that black and white. It's a bit like because they've been around for a little while now.
Yes, they have.
I feel like I've seen them. I think I'm pretty sure we played a show with them and fucking Boreworm and a couple others at Sanctuary a little while back. And it was really cool to see them live with that as well. I think it was a smaller lineup though, because I feel like when we saw them last at least the last few times, they always seems like they went from, because now I think they're like what, a 6-piece to 5-piece now,
something like that. Yeah, I don't exactly remember.
2, 3, yeah. So they're a 6-piece now. I believe I've seen them as a 4-piece and as a 5-piece.
Oh wow!
Time or another.
Okay.
So I feel like every time it's a different iteration of the band, but it's always just just a, like you said, like a fucking tornado of brutal and just dark, but also like I really like how like ambient it is at certain parts of it. Like that's
why I feel like they're bigger than most of the stages they've played.
Yeah, like they just have this kind of like giant, like all the stuff I like about super epic black metal stuff is kind of in this. Like just this really, the cool like black speed stuff with the high vocals and the kind of everything else. So yeah, man, I can't say enough about it. And to what you were saying, I wish that it's fucking strong year. Like all the ones that are in front of me that I'm talking about, I feel like I'm doing a giant disservice for them not being on the list. But
it's hard. Like we love the Filthy 15 thing, but it's sometimes hard to not make it a Filthy 20.
Yeah.
It is hard, but we do keep. So what is? Oh, I got a fucking cat hair. What's your next honorable mention?
Next one is a band that I haven't been following super close. They've been around for a little while. They kind of started as a little more of a deathcore band. Kind of sort of. I don't know. I'm not really sure how to describe it really. They kind of follow in the same vein as Breathing Process, but it's Mental Cruelty.
Oh,
their album A Hill to Die Upon.
Okay.
It's somewhere.
Show that a little bit. Hold it up to the camera a little bit more.
Because some of my favorite artwork, honestly, that I've for any album that's come out this year. So
let me see that shit.
Big like.
Ooh, I like that.
I mean, even let me pull up an actual picture of that's just kind of the
all right, yeah, for sure,
out of the record. But the whole thing.
Well, yeah, what's it about? Yeah,
the whole thing has some really cool, just artwork and stuff as you're going through it. It's all like painting stuff of just this giant frozen mountain landscape kind of stuff, which ties into the album quite a bit because it's somewhere between Breathing Process and Lorna, to be honest with you. It's the same, like whenever they do some like big giant breakdowns, there's this just I don't know how, if it's some way that it's like mixed this way or some way that it's put together, but just the breakdowns just have this like it's not like a traditional bass drop to where it like the bass kind of like keeps going after it hits. It's like a kind of a thing, like it's a punch kind of, and if you're listening to it on some really good headphones or like a good like system, it hits you in your chest. Like it just, some of the breakdowns on this album are so gigantic, and just the way that it, like, you know, much like with Lorna, how it's, they do all these, like, you know, the big like orchestral stuff, and they have a lot of string stuff. This has a lot of that as well, but they don't necessarily lean into it as hard. It's kind of just more for an effect. But I think like Ultima Hypocrita was one of the first singles that's on it. That's got a really cool hook to it. I love King of Fire has one of my favorite endings to any song I've heard this year. I mean, that's outside of, you know, some of the other ones we talked about. Like it's fucking up there, and the video for it is madness. It is like just visually, like, you know, just fire and blood covered, and just all the sickest shit. Kind of reminds me of something, what is it, Son of Misery from Die Artist Murder, the video that they did for it, how it's just like, yeah, those constant shots like that. Death Worship has a sick ass breakdown into it. So yeah, I don't know, the whole thing. Let me pull up the artwork too, because it really is something to, because there's a lot going on, but it's also kind of subtle, which I like.
Fair enough. No, this is and for the record, everyone, these honorable mentions are like definitely like Aaron and I are revealing these to each other for the first time right now. We don't know each other's honorable mentions. So this is all like new. Like you're seeing my genuine reaction, you'll see his for everything that we mentioned right now.
Yeah. I mean, I know we've at least mentioned
it's
it
like
at
the
some
one
point,
part. It's like the one part of the Filthy 15 that's kind of, we keep secret even from each other.
Yeah. Gotta have some mystery to
Some
it.
mystery, yeah. Oh my god.
So that's, yeah. It
That's
says a lot to look
sick.
at.
The only way I could improve that is if the creature coming out of the fucking flame was the Grim Reaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that is gorgeous. That's very pretty artwork. I like that a lot. I like the mountainscapes. I like the landscapes. You know what I mean? Like, especially when it's like snowy mountains and fire or a big monster or something, you know, lots of color. I like that.
And it really lends itself super well to the music too, because like, even as, like I said, you know, in the art, or just the actual lyric book of it, like it's all just the mountains and stuff, and it's all just like that kind of same color. So when you're listening through to it and like reading with it, like it's just, the whole thing just has this kind of like cold kind of like
I like
heaviness to it. You know
I like when the sound matches. Look at the top right corner there. Those almost look like eyes. Yeah, right there. And then go to the left. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like
two eyes right there.
Yeah.
Like a mouth almost. What's going on there? That's interesting.
Oh, yeah. I didn't really notice that before.
That's wild. But yeah. So what is the band again?
Mental Cruelty.
Mental Cruelty. All right.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, I just saw this in the liner notes. Josh Schroeder did Lorna, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Mixed Lorna, right?
Yeah, that's that dude. Yeah, and he's up there in Bay City, Michigan.
Because that is who mixed and mastered this record too.
He does. He's done Battlecross. He's done. I think he's done a little Convalescence. Yeah, he's done a lot of really wonderful shit. He's a master. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did do this. I know he did, and I Return to Nothingness. So, which
makes a lot of sense, because I would, you know, if like I said, if you liked that, then I definitely recommend checking this one out, because
all right,
you know, very much kind of the same vein of that, but it's a little more like like black metal. It's a little more death metal than deathcore, so there's a little bit less breakdowns and stuff. But as far as like in the traditional sense, but there is some really fucking heavy hitting stuff on it that, like I said, really, like if you're listening to it with some good headphones or on something where like you're fucking
In the car.
yeah, you'll like it'll stop you. Whatever you're doing, it'll fucking stop you. You're like, holy shit, like like a
Fuck
ton
yeah.
of bricks. Yeah. So
Beautiful.
oh yeah.
All right. Well, you just sold me on that as well. Well, my next one for the honorable mentions, real quick, is going to be the album "Echoes of Souls" by Crypta. Now, the cool thing about this one is that this features former members of a band we talked about earlier on the list, Nervosa. When they disbanded, like we talked about with Nervosa, some of the members created Crypta, and so we got Nervosa's album and Crypta's album the same year that were both great. I gravitated more towards Nervosa's than this one. That's why this is on the honorable mentions, but still a wonderful fucking all full female lineup of like very brutal, like Brazilian, like South American based death metal that I think soars. Awesome cover artwork. I don't know. This isn't doing it much justice, but great cover artwork. And it's 10 songs of fire. It's 10 songs of absolute destruction. I would say way more death metal than Nervosa. But absolutely worth every minute of everybody's time. Crypta is from the original disband. Yep, there it is. From the original disbandment of Nervosa, the fact that we got a new Nervosa and Crypta, we got two bands out of it that are both great. That's just awesome to me. So to everybody check out fucking Crypta, Echoes of the Soul. It's an amazing death metal album that I can't recommend enough. It's I've gone back to it many times, and every single time I'm just sitting there the whole time like
there's
like it's fucking great. It's fucking great. It's thrashy, it's deathy, it's got the South American influence. It's just fucking all killer, no filler. So
there's some riff beasts in this band. In this band and Nervosa. Like there's some,
big time.
Very, very like I don't know, like you said, it enough to like understand the influence, but not so much that it like overshadows the actual like what the band sounds like.
Right.
Like there's definitely the influence of it, and you can hear all the which is, I mean, it's never a bad thing when you're talking about some of the greats, and if you're gonna try to have your style be influenced by somebody, it may as well be the best. So
yeah.
And
that's what they do down there.
Yeah, there's a lot of I need to get like just like pay more attention to that, to the South American.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's all nothing but groove thrash death that's inspired by Sepultura, Iron Maiden, and all all that stuff, and it's just fucking. Oh man, there has not been anything I've ever heard that comes out of South America that I didn't like so far. So they just kill it. They just they know the metal is huge down there, and they know what the fuck they're doing. And they're really good. They're really good. What's your next honorable mention?
Well, this band has become another staple death metal band for me. Anytime they put anything out, I'm about it. I've been following them since, I don't know, Necrotic Manifesto or Global Flatline or whatever. And they're just they never miss a beat. Anytime that they ever have any member changes, anything like that, it's always like they always come back way stronger. And I'm talking about tried and true Belgian death, Aborted.
Holy fuck.
Like this was
I didn't even know they came out with a new one this year.
Yeah, man. I forgot all about it until I was looking through my stuff and I was like, holy shit, I have like
Ooh.
this kind of takes my vote for, and I need to spend more time with it, admittedly, because it was one of those that, like I said, I got with 2 or 3 others at the time. I think I got it with Mental Cruelty, and I haven't spent due time with it.
That is a big factor in a lot of the honorable mentions. It's just stuff we didn't get to spend enough time with.
Yeah.
That's a big factor. So go on.
So yeah, I'm gonna talk about some of this fucking special edition thing because it came with some pretty cool stuff that I've never really seen anybody else do before. And they're like, it's the kind, like it's the Cannibal Corpse effect, man. Like I saw that cover and I was like, oh fuck yeah, this is gonna be wicked. Like
sick.
this is, yeah, you know, any of their covers are, you know,
What's the album name?
Mania Cult, Mania
Cult. All right. Yeah.
Mania
See,
Cult?
the one you just
Yeah.
had on was the last one that I bought from them.
Yeah, Terror Vision.
TerraVision. Yeah.
I mean,
that's
come on.
That's what I know them from.
I got a couple of artwork shirts from them that have stuff, you know, just because it's like like come on, like it's just there's so much
Sick
to look
as
at.
fuck.
Like just
That's
yeah,
sick as fuck.
you know, as soon as so like I said, as soon as I started seeing some of that stuff, and just how it's all like it reminds me of some like Evil Dead stuff. Like it's all out in the woods and there's like the, you know, the hands down here with the fingers cut off and the, you know, the, I don't know. So it's all, it kind of gets a little more into it as you progress into the artwork. But so I got this fucking, can't really see it through this package. I'll open it at some point. So that's the little,
Oh, a little keychain.
it's a pin.
Oh, sick. All right.
There's that, and then the patch with the same logo on it. Pretty cool.
Beautiful.
I think this is new for this record because I don't think they had this since. This is kind of cool. It's like a post. It's like I don't even know if it's like a postcard kind of deal or if it's like what to call it, but it's like a pop-up fucking display of the artwork.
My god, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's sick
Yeah.
as fuck.
On the back of it is the thing I love about their artwork too, kind of in the same vein as Cannibal, is like they just, you know, they really dive headfirst into, like they did I think a few records ago they had the concept of it was like a bunch of old horror movies, like a bunch of like I think they did a Ghostbusters shirt, they did a Scream shirt, they did, I don't know,
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So they're always doing something really cool with their, as far as, you know, the all the design stuff with their merch and everything, kind of having a theme with stuff. But some of the, like, I don't know, just some of the artwork and stuff, and it's really cool how they're all like kind of mangled and look like they were all sacrificed in this. So it's like, as you're flipping through it, you got the main guy crawling up from the dead, and this dude is just kind of headless, and it's all the members.
Shit.
It's all the members of the band. I'm not sure what's going on here. You know, so yeah, but yeah, as far as the sound on this record, dude, it like I said, it's, if you like Aborted, you'll love this record. It's just more of that. I think they've had a few guitar changes since the last one and this one, but it had like it's on any time that they have a member change, it just kind of progresses. Like they never really skip a beat, they never really stop just doing what they know to do. So I'm never really super worried whenever they announce a departure, because I know that there's, you know, they're gonna find somebody to fill that space. But yeah, man, it is just, you know, even, I mean, because I think they put out a couple of singles, Impetus, AOTY, which is really cool, Dementophobia, some of the really, like, you know, get like guitar solos all over this thing, some of the coolest guitar work on it. The drums are, I mean, as far as modern, you know, I'd put it up there with like stuff that, you know, I like, you know, it's very like super fast, like cattle stuff. You know, very very speedy, like super blast speedy, very like you know pit starters and all that stuff. So and just you know the visual stuff that goes along with it. It's just very dark. It's a very dark sounding album. And so yeah, I need to listen to way more of it because I can't really give a proper review of it. But I mean, it's worth picking up just because it's aborted, and that's kind of why I picked it up, just based off of seeing the artwork and being like, that's going to be something gnarly that I need to pay attention to. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Aborted. Another one on the honorable mentions. The next one. God damn it. If I can get this out of the fucking fuck it. What? Oh, all right, yeah. So the next one for me is Altar of the Dying, Throne.
Ooh, damn, yeah.
That I feel like needs to be on the honorable mentions list. This is a Michigan band that absolutely blew me away the first time I ever saw them, and it's like, you know, it's pure Michigan fucking death metal, and you know, again, all these are albums that we haven't spent enough time with, but seeing these guys live since this release, and the first time I saw them live, they floored me. And I picked this up, and yeah, like when I did sit down and give it a full listen, and I was like, this sound is coming from Michigan right now. Like, this is what people in Michigan are doing. It blew me away. It absolutely blew me away. And it's an incredible, how do I put it? It's because it's not just death. It's I don't really know what else to put it with, but
very, very fast.
Like kind of
metal.
Like blackened, yeah. What about like goat horror?
Yeah, I can see some of that.
A little bit of that in there too. But I've seen these guys many times. I love these guys to death. And Throne, Altar of the Dying is an absolute fucking incredible release. This is not doing it any justice because you get all this bullshit reflection. But we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 track release, and oh man, yeah, very epic like Behemoth and visceral like goat horror, and live it's all of that and more. Because these guys, like the first time I saw them, I think they did like a Slayer cover that floored me, like absolutely amazing. It was a max bar to date myself at this point.
Yeah. So I hate to tell you this, but Pestilent Dawn came out this year. Altar of the Dying was 2019. I was just looking it up on Spotify.
Oh, then I just grabbed the wrong one.
The white cover one.
Yeah. That's motherfucker. All right, so yeah, I fucked that up. Because I just grabbed. I knew Throne was on my list, so I just grabbed the one I had.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, so I'm talking about Pestilent Dawn then.
Altar
of the Dying is still the shit.
It's still great. Yeah.
God damn it.
Definitely worth checking that one out as well.
That is, you're right though. As soon as you showed me that cover, I was like, yeah, that is the one I've been listening to all year. That's look, people, we fuck things up sometimes. Sorry, Throne. But yeah, what was it? Well, Pestilent Dawn.
Pull it up. Yeah.
That's it. That's the one. 100%. 100%. That's the one.
This was one also very, very
still sick as fuck.
Not a slouch. Yeah.
But Pestilent Dawn, that was, that's more of a full length. And dude, they just fucking destroy every time I see them. And this right here, both of them, but this one is the one I've been listening to all year. Sorry, I fucked that up. Absolutely outrageous. Like, yeah. Everything I said about that one, I meant about this one. Sorry.
It applies to the new one. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, 100%. I probably one of my favorite moments of this year. One of my favorite shows that we saw was the I-96 show, and
with Kill the Imposter.
yeah, dude, there's something about seeing this band last up with the fucking full moon behind it. Like,
Dude, it was outside. It was a
Yeah.
beautiful night. There was a
Yeah.
full moon, and they like hadn't like they had like more time than they expected. Like, dude, yeah, that was fucking gnarly in
Yeah.
a fucking dirt pit. Like,
Yeah.
that's basically what we were moshing in, was a dirt pit. And
that was a fun ass show.
sick as fuck. That was so
Yeah.
much fun.
Needs to be more of those.
So much fun. So Throne, Pestilent Dawn. I'm sorry, I fucked that up.
Like I said,
I'm
I didn't
sorry.
want to be a guy, but I was
No,
like,
no, no. I'm glad you did. I'm so glad you did. I'm so glad you called me on that, because I just grabbed the Throne one that I had sitting
Yeah.
here. I thought I just forgot. And it's funny too, because I looked at the cover. I was like, that's not the, but I just went with it anyway. Like, I'm an idiot. Sorry. Throne, but Pestilent Dawn was absolute genius, and you guys destroy live every time. And we're about to get to see them again with Recorruptor down there in at the Music Box in Jackson next month, and I cannot fucking wait. Throne has a lot of dates coming up. Look up all things Throne band on social media. They destroy. So yeah, and oh my god. First time I saw them live, it was like at Max, and they were playing. I watched their whole set, but they ended with like a Slayer cover, and it was nothing but red lights on. I'll never forget that. It was so fucking brutal, dude.
Yeah.
It was just gnarly. I thought you were there, but I don't know. But it was fucking sick.
I think I remember seeing them a few times at Max. And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I was. Yeah, I think that might have been the Goat Horse show, because didn't they open for them?
Oh yeah. That might have been it. Yeah.
I mean,
That sounds right.
yeah. Now I was talking about it.
But yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So Throne's my next
Check it out.
honorable mention. Sorry, I fucked that up. God damn it.
It's all good. It's all
I
good.
love those guys. But what's your next honorable mention?
Well, slightly less heavy, to some extent, a little bit more excessive, a little bit more popular. But I have gotten quite a bit into this band over the last few years. I think that they're the main artist, the main like guitarist and vocalist of the band has such a unique way of writing these songs, and of like how this band kind of came together is pretty wild. Talking about fucking that's weird. It's like not wanting to close up. Yeah, Digipacks.
Yeah, I couldn't put the fucking sleep out of that song.
Talking about Beartooth.
Oh. Oh shit. Okay.
So this album, let me pull it up on the, because it's another one where the artwork it shows a lot. It's like I said, I've been a fan of them for a little while. I really like Caleb Shomo, the main guy, his approach to songwriting and just how it all kind of, how it all kind of comes together, because it's kind of a thing where it's like a solo project in the way that he plays all the instruments and he writes all the stuff and records everything himself, and then he gets other people to basically fill in and do be like a live band kind of thing. So it's like kind of his project, but he brings on everybody else to to be a part of the live setting. So it's not so much of like a super group kind of the way that the other ones were, but it's kind of in the same idea. So yeah, let me pull the up because it's pretty cool. It's very old school looking.
It is.
Like the whole, and that's kind of the cool part of this band is they're kind of rooted in in that like the era of the super loud aggressive rock music, like the big the stuff that like a lot of the guitars on this, and that's kind of one of the things that I feel like they do best is they like just got the riffs, man, like just some of the coolest just stuff that like gets you to bang your head, and it's like super aggressive type stuff. It's very, very hooky, has a lot of cool choruses and a lot of cool different it's like I said, it's a little more straightforward than a lot of the stuff that's on my list. But I think by the time that I heard Devastation and The Past Is Dead, I think I must have repeated those several times this year when I first heard them. I just thought it was great. I loved all the lyrics in it. It's one of those where it's a little more it's a bit more of like lyrically, it's a little more of a personal thing. It's a little more about like dealing with depression and struggles and that kind of thing, and that sort of thing definitely spoke to me over the year. And as soon as I heard this was coming out, because I've been a fan of them pretty much ever since the first one, because they've been, let me see, be right with this. It's the type of thing where it's very, like you said, very loud guitar driven stuff. So yeah, the first album was 2014, and then I really got into them on this record, Aggressive. Some of the coolest songs, one of the best openings. I mean, I guess what I'm talking about as far as the guitar stuff. Let me find a good example. Just really driving, just stuff you can kind of like bang your head to. Just very, very live sounding. Yeah, so just kind of stuff like that, man. Just super, super loud, very, pun intended, aggressive, I guess. Just stuff that you can just kind of put on and just, makes you want to drive fast. Really makes you just want to like run, I guess. So yeah, that's Beartooth Below.
All right.
Check it out.
All right. And here I only have 3 left. So I'm just in two of them I can blast through real quick. I'm just gonna blast through these last 3 and then you blast through your last few. All right.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I only got one more I want to talk about anyway. So.
Beautiful. All right. So my next one for honorable mentions, there's just we've joked a lot about this one. But I have to put it on here because they are one of my favorite bands of all time. Iron Maiden.
Oh yeah,
it does at least make the honorable mention. Senjutsu,
it's Maiden, dude. Like
it's fucking Maiden. It's fucking Iron fucking Maiden. Like it's gotta make the list somehow or another. They don't release albums very often. I wish they released them different, but at the same time, everything I've heard of this has been it's really good. It's just not what I as a fan want. And I definitely have not spent enough time with it this year. So for that reason, it makes the honorable mention list. But at the same time, it is a great fucking album. Yeah. And definitely it's Iron fucking Maiden.
You can't.
What more do I need to say? Like that's just top to bottom it.
It was I thought it's just a funny side note. It was funny when we were talking about it the other night. Because I know exactly what the issue is with it,
fucking,
and it's
like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah. Like, so you were like,
not that many songs.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, but all of them are like 10 minutes long at least.
Yeah, a lot of them.
You were
as a fan, I want another, normal album as opposed to these like seemingly concept albums, you know?
Yeah. It was funny just how you were explaining it. You're like, I sat down and I was like, I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna like, and then you're like, I stopped after like the first half. And I was like,
Well, it's 2 discs.
It's yeah.
If it wasn't 2 discs split up, I'd be able to go all the way through, but
Yeah.
it's 2 discs. So all right, but
I just thought it was funny.
Iron Maiden always makes the list no matter what. Another one that I thought was great this year that I did not get to spend. Holy shit! Oh, excuse me. That I did not expect to, that I did not. I don't feel like I got to spend enough time this year. Was the new Exodus.
Okay, yeah.
Persona non grata. I thought it was a great album. I didn't get to spend enough time with it, but I thought the guitar work was amazing. Gary Holt always kills it. I thought this was a great, wonderful, modern thrash metal album that soars above many others. I just didn't get to spend enough time with it, so it makes the honorable mentions. And one that absolutely has to make at least our honorable mentions, Aaron, without question. I mean, this is 101 for us. The new Jamie Josser produced D. Snyder album.
Oh shit!
Leave a Scar.
I forgot all about that record.
Which actually features a song with Corpse Grinder.
Oh shit!
Damn. This one. The only reason this doesn't make the actual list is because it didn't hit me as hard as For the Love of Metal, but I still think it's an extremely important record, and I still love it top to bottom to death. I think it's a great album. It's D. Snyder, Joster produced. Corpse Grinder is on it, and I really do love it top to bottom. It just didn't hit me as hard as For the Love of Metal. So it at least makes the honorable mentions. And the last honorable mention that I have is our brothers. Brother Aaron from down there in Victims of This System released 2 great, I don't know, full album and two great full albums. They probably released more, but they at least released 2 great full albums this year. Victims of the System, In God We Rust, and Victims of the System, Let War Be Raged. Now, I don't have physicals of these, but this is the artwork for In God We Rust. Great title. Killer title.
Very
great artwork.
Very like
and then
Carcass sounding.
Joe, tell me that doesn't remind you of some early Arch Enemy Carcass. Hang on, right here.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what I thought when I first saw it. That's Let the War Be Raged. Look, Victims of the System, Aaron specifically, man, he has that thing that we talked about earlier, that Jamie Josta, that Johnny Nobody, that Brian Carter from Scream at the Sky, that drive of just relentless output, never stopping, don't give a fuck you to everyone, I'm doing this. And he's got that, and he has been a big supporter of this show. And honestly, like, it's not 100% like, it's very grindy. It's very grindy for sure. A lot of the music, and that's not something I would normally gravitate towards. But considering how long I have been following him at this point in his musical progression and listening to the different releases every single time, I've started to hear the evolution, I guess is what I'm saying. And that's what excites me about Victims of the System and about this band, and specifically Aaron, in that just much like when you discover a new podcast and go back to episode 1 and get to hear the whole evolution of the whole podcast. That's what I feel like I'm getting with Aaron and Victims of the System. I get to hear his evolution as a musician.
Yeah.
And every single time he comes out with something new, I'm like, whoa, that's new. Like that's a new thing that you're doing. That's a new thing that you're incorporating. And it excites me every single time. And he's genuinely a great player. He's a great musician. He's relentless. And this band, whether it be, and we've said this before, but whether it be Victims of the System or not, he's got that thing. He's got the fire. He's got that fucking thing that we got. He's got that thing that just, no matter what, we keep fucking going. End of discussion. Like that's all it is. That's all it is. Just keep fucking moving. And he fucking that's the other thing about it too, is every single new release he comes out with is better than the last. It's like it's a constant, not like improvement, but evolution. Like the last thing I thought was good, the next thing I think is good too. It's just it's following the evolution of you know, it's you know, and that's exciting for me as a fan of his, and he's a fan of ours. You know, it's exciting to be able to like watch the progression and the evolution of really genuine fire and talent, and dedication and love for the same thing that we love and that this whole podcast is about. So Aaron, if you're seeing this right now, man, you fucking destroy every time, and you absolutely deserve a spot on this list. So that's I just wish I had a physical copy to hold up. That's all I can say. But that you know, he absolutely absolutely deserves a spot on this list every time. So Victims of the System, Aaron destroys on guitar, and he has a knack for putting together. He's another one that the band isn't all in one place.
Yeah.
And he has a knack for putting together some pretty talented musicians to make some special fucking music. So Aaron, you fucking destroy, and you are every time, man. You are on the top spot on at least the honorable mention list. You always got to be on the list somehow. So that's it for my honorable mentions. It ends with Aaron and Victims of the System. They destroy.
I agree, man. He just fucking one of the coolest dudes that always hits us up all the time. Just talking about everything and anything. Like, you know, it's definitely cool to see the growth in it since the first thing he sent us a lot of however long ago it was. 2 years ago.
Years ago. He's one of the first ones to ever hit us up.
Yeah, and just to
he's Crip Crew OG.
Yeah, like, one of the first, man.
Yeah.
And you know, so I just to hear that kind of, you know, the like I said, the growth of it, just to kind of, because anytime he puts anything new out, I'm always listening to it. I always check it out, just to see what it sounds like, see what, you know, what kind of new.
Where are they going? Where are they going now? Because they go different ways every time. It seems like.
Yeah.
So it's like exciting to see where they go next.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking awesome.
Fucking awesome. So what's your final honorable mention, my brother?
Well, I'm gonna run through like you just did 3 real quick.
Do it.
Do it.
It's funny because I pulled this up before even knowing who you were talking about. It's Victims with their album "Numb the Ache." If anybody I saw them once or twice last year. 3-piece band. really fucking cool. All completely. Apparently they're unsigned. I didn't realize that. I thought they were on Rise or something. So that's cool. It's one of their most recent ones. Really, really like just super well, I don't know. Their last few were a little more aggressive, but these ones are a bit more kind of set in the like, a little more introspective. They're a little more just kind of, I mean, it just the culmination of everything that's happened within the last year. You can tell that when you listen to this that there's some hurt going on in it. Like there's some real emotion to it, and some, they find a way to, especially live, it just even being a three-piece, like they have such a giant sound, and such a, just a way of having these really gross sounding riffs that just come through and just make you bang your head and want to fight everybody and jump off of shit. So that's the kind of stuff I like. So that's Victims. Like I said, very really cool fucking live band as well. There's also like something cool that they do on this record, that I don't necessarily know if they do on any of the others, is they have a lot of like kind of like trap influence, where they do a lot of like there's sections in some of the songs towards the end of it that like the whole thing kind of moves into itself. So like the first song goes into the second one, which kind of like the whole thing kind of feels like one continuous idea a little bit. But there's some cool like little like instrumental interludes that kind of sound like some cool like dark kind of like hip hop stuff, which is pretty different for for anything like that. I mean, it's kind of rooted, it reminds me a little bit of like Traders kind of stuff, like their earlier stuff. So yeah, that was that album. Like I said, if you ever get a chance to see them live, it's something pretty fucking cool. Like they do all their own merch stuff, they do all their own like photography stuff. They're very, very much a DIY band, as you can see. So those Victims. The other band, 2 of 3, is one that narrowly escaped my list, and it's only because the last few days I've been returning back to it and kicking myself because I like it so much, but I couldn't force any of my 5 out of the list for this one because they were just too strong. So I apologize, but I mean, I have to mention fucking That Wish to Exist. Talking about Architects.
Ooh, yeah.
Very different for them. Like very like it's not quite as heavy all the way through, which I think is the one thing that kind of kept me from like going back to it immediately. Because the last thing they put out, Holy Hell, one of like first album since the passing of Tom, who was one of their founding guitar players and songwriters in the band. So this was 2018. So they've had a little bit of time to kind of change the sound up a little bit and kind of get into kind of grow into what they are now. And I think that this is I like my only comments on it are, I feel like at certain points I just wish that it had a little more of the of the heavy stuff, because I feel like that's just what they do best. Like they with the really heavy stuff, and then kind of sitting next to the really hooky like catchy choruses that get stuck in your head all the time. There's a lot more ambient stuff on this album than they were in the past. A couple of notes, I guess. Black Lungs is another song that has a really like just, I mean, I think this song and Animals are the 2 singles off of it, and it was 2 of the things that I heard first, and I was like, this is gonna be a little different. Like I can tell that there's something different about this one. And as you kind of go through it, like it's a lot more. I guess for them it's a lot more stuff that you would hear on the radio, but it's not to say that skips out on the heavy, because there are some just some really cool guitar riffs in it. There's some cool drum stuff going on. They've always been a fan, or I've always been a fan of the drum work on their albums. Impermanence with Winston from Parkway is crushing. Yeah. It's one of the peak moments off this record. I fucking love it. Gets your head going. Some really cool driving, Black Lungs is cool. An Ordinary Extinction has just probably one of my favorite choruses they've ever written. Yeah, that is For Those That Wish to Exist. Like I said, I only wish that it was just a little bit heavier, but that's just me being picky and just being a fan of their earlier stuff and not wanting to see them change, I guess.
Fair enough.
And the last band, let's see, what was it? I have it written down. Yeah, actually, nah, I think that's it.
That's it. All right.
Yeah, I have a few more, but they like, I don't know. I don't really, in fairness, I don't really have enough on any of them to really form an actual.
There's a couple like that for me too. There's a couple like that for me too.
I will say I was a massive fan, as I always am, of the new Tech 9 that came out.
Oh yeah,
Asine's really, really good. It's one of my favorites that he's come out with in the last few years, and so I'm a fan of that. I like strange music, so that made the list for the honorable mentions.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So does that mean we now get into number one?
I think we're finally at it, man. I think it's finally time to give this its dues the way that fucking nobody else has mentioned this year.
Nobody.
And it's a damn shame.
And there it is. There's number 2, number 3, and all of our honorable mentions. We went on for a while. We had quite a few, and that's why we include it. That's why we include it, because again, they are all they mean just as much to us as every single other one on the list. Seriously, like they really. The only reason they're not on the list is because this list isn't 30 bands long. We make it 15 just to say a fuck you to the PMRC all those years ago. That's why we named it the Filthy 15. So that's why we keep it to that. And that's why the honorable mentions are so important to us, because they're just ones that we did, didn't have a number, but we needed. That's why we have this section, is because we needed to mention them because of how much their music means to us. So seriously, I hope you all enjoyed that episode as much as we did making it. The final episode for number 1 is out right now. It's out the same time as this. So please, from the bottom of my heart, please check that one out, because that is one that that was a big one for me this year. So that one means a lot to me, and I hope everybody checks that one out, really, from the bottom of my heart. So I hope you all enjoyed this ride. Just one more to talk about, and then we're on to new things for 2022. So I thank you all so much for watching this. Anybody that's been involved in any way, shape, or form, everyone, Keith, Aaron from Victims of the System, Reflections of Flesh, Bound by Years, everybody, Circa, I can't even name them all right now, but you guys all seriously just mean so much to me. You mean all of you mean the world to me, and I cannot wait to see what we all do together over the next year. I'm beyond excited. I'm being Recorruptor, Ballgraith, of course. I'm beyond excited to see what we all do over the next year together, and what you all do, what we all do individually too. You know, we do our own things and then we all come together and it's all always amazing. So I can't wait to see it all. 2022 is shaping up to be a good one. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed this episode and all of these Filthy 15 episodes as much as we did making them. We sat down and recorded for like 6 fucking hours. So I hope you all enjoyed this shit. And we will, number 1 is out right now. Please check it out. And we will be back by like tomorrow or the next day after this comes out with regularly scheduled programming, moving on into 2022 finally. So thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. And I don't know what else to say other than y'all know what to do, right? It's raise your fucking horns and bang your goddamn heads. We love you all to death, Crip Crew. Good night.